Death before Dishonor. I'm Genesee.
I'm Eric.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Tinsian.
My character is Anatari. She's a good aligned Kalishtar war priest.
I don't know what this assisting means. What do you have to say for yourself there? It's time to get some sun rods up in this biz.
All just armored to, like, the nth degree.
Dastardly, dashing ahead.
It's time to get some sun rods up in this biz.
Despotic? Damn it.
All just armored to, like, the nth degree.
It's time to get some sun rods up in this biz.
One of the beauties of D&D. Can't end the story. Goes anywhere you want it.
Welcome to the show. I'm Genesee.
I'm Eric.
I'm Florian.
And I'm taking the night off from my job as Superman in order to be Tinsian.
This is Death Before Dishonor. This is episode 186 in a sometimes weekly series starring a group of friends playing Dungeons and Dragons, hosted by the Gray Area Podcast. So, a couple weeks ago, last time we met, I'm going to let Tinsian kind of catch us up on where we are as we wander through the keep full of possible vampires and unknown invisible people. So, Dungeon Master, you are a go.
Well, who's a Dungeon Master? Because according to Twitch, I'm Carl, so I'm going to take the night off and just kick things.
Oh, yes, you are Carl. I have to switch you around. How'd that happen?
So, episode 186. But before I get there, a couple administrative notes. One, we have missed the 5-year anniversary for Death Before, which was in early May. So, congratulations to us for that. But more importantly, Florian, I think that you are pretty much up on your 2-year.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
That's crazy.
I think I looked the other day, and it was getting close. But with how we record things, I may as well, say it now while we're doing it. Okay, in the last episode, the party had explored a bit of the castle, ran into what appeared to be some automaton or remotely controlled knights in armor. And then they chose to go into the small village that is next to the castle, where they were served food by invisible staff, or at least some sort of, ghostly apparitions. Who knows? They can't see it. It's all good. And just as the bells in town were starting to ring, as it was getting close to dusk, someone or something was starting to make up one of the rooms of the inn for the party. I believe you guys were still inside. Carl had ordered up another round of... No, sorry, it was Caesar who had ordered up some food. Florian, as Carl, was heading up the stairs with Xanatari to follow the floating linens.
Ah.
And you have about an hour until dusk. I just mentioned that as an aside. No reason to panic.
Mm-hmm.
So forth. So, let us continue with Caesar. You pick us up for tonight.
Hello.
Hello.
So they're leaving me behind, right?
Well, or you're leaving them behind, or you're just kind of getting ahead in life.
Well, to keep things simple, since it's been a little while, as usual, I will catch myself up with them and make sure they don't get too far out of sight. Continue on with them.
Okay.
Hey, wait up!
Oh, what's going on here, Mr. Caesar? I don't know as much about the world as you do, Mr. Caesar and Miss Centauri. Is this there's usually not. If somebody talks about ghost towns, they don't mean something like this. Usually.
Carl, I don't know that I would go so far. I thought the last time that we started this, we were in an inn about to have a drink. And I'm just confused as to where we are right now, Carl, because I kind of remember going upstairs after that point and just not being able to remember anything else because it's been just an upsetting few minutes here. I'm sure there's a rational explanation for all of this. Some kind of magical explanation that doesn't at all involve ghosts or any kind of undead people. It'll be fine.
So,
Or will it?
Says the man who's friends with death.
Not only friends, but also an employee and possible member of a stock incentive purchasing plan.
Great. He owns stock in the afterlife. Is that what you're trying to say?
You own stock in the afterlife, and I believe you have been the one vacillating back and forth between I wish we had a vacation and I wish something would happen. So, ride the sine wave.
I see. Is this the Hotel California?
Could be.
Okay.
Could be Freebird, all 15 minutes of it, but, All right, so you guys still going upstairs or been co-opted by the church bell?
I'm gonna go upstairs.
Okay.
let's go follow.
Let's check it out.
Upstairs, there are a couple of doors, about 4 doors. Nothing seems overly strange regarding the size of the hallway upstairs, or doesn't seem to stretch into the far distance, or have twins standing anywhere nearby, or anyone rolling a tricycle or horse down the way. But the linens stop in the middle of the hallway, and pairs of them split off. One group goes to the left, one goes to the right. Doors open to whatever rooms lay beyond, and the linens float inside.
Xenotari says, I see how it is. Months on the road with these two. The second we get into an inn, it's a room to yourself. She stalks down the hall into the room.
Nobody saw Cesar whip out the platinum travel card that has all his points for Ghost Inn. Okay. So you just pick one of the rooms and go in, Xanatori?
Yep.
Okay. Pretty standard. Not exactly a huge, massively spacious room, but comfortable. Sort of a attic, loft type deal. Bed, wash basin, place to drop your stuff.
Okay.
Kind of something of a desk and a couple windows. The sunroof, the window that's in the ceiling, is, however, sealed.
Okay.
And there's a window on the wall.
Do I get the feeling that this invisible host is in the room as well? Are the linens like floating over to the bed, or what's the deal?
Yes, the linens are floating over, and some basic stuff is starting to happen to the mattress in terms of fluffing the mattress and basic. They don't have form-fitting sheets per se in that time and age, but stuff is going down to at least make it somewhat comfortable.
Okay. I'm gonna turn and slam the door, and apologizing profusely, Xanatari's gonna take one of the linens and throw it over where she suspects this invisible chambermaid is.
Okay. There is just two points of catch, as if it was a pair of hands.
All right. Okay, I will remove this blanket and open the door again.
Okay. Eventually, it moves around and kind of deposits stuff here and there that needs to be, and the door does not slam shut of its own accord. In the other room, if anyone looks, same kind of deal happens. It's up to Xanatari or whoever wants to be in the room to know what just happened.
Yeah, meanwhile, Xanatari is running into rooms and slamming the doors and opening them and throwing sheets around. He'll check out, maybe then the room next door or something like that.
Okay, so one of the rooms that hasn't been open so far.
Right.
There is the rattle of a locked door.
Does the door seem strong or not?
For a public house, it doesn't look suspiciously overly strong, but it's of good construction.
Okay. What about the lock?
The lock is likewise of good construction.
Okay.
Do you want to check out the room across?
Yeah, I'll check if that, see if the rest are that way or not.
Okay. The one across from the hall is unlocked and is unmade, but not unkempt.
Okay. I guess I'll keep going down, see if any others are locked or not.
There's only the 4 rooms up there.
Oh, okay.
Small village.
Right.
Not,
This isn't the Hyatt.
Nope. Okay.
Mhm.
Carl, what would you like to do?
Carlos watching Mr. Cesar and say at one point, Mr. Cesar, if you really want, I think I could open the store by force, but I don't. Whatever these invisible creatures or ghosts are, they would probably not appreciate that.
I think we'll be all right. Why don't you give it a shot?
Great.
If you say so, okay. So, Carl's gonna go up to the lock and try to, well, at first, rip off the lock or some, if it's attached to a chain, remove a link from the chain.
So you're going to try and rip the lock off the door?
Yeah, while he's very concerned, at this point, not damaging the door itself, only the lock.
Okay. As this happens, by the way, everyone notices that there are no mirrors in their rooms. But slowly after, or soon after, Xanatari's room, or whichever one of the first rooms that was made up, a full-length mirror, kind of in a wooden frame and legs, is seen kind of being toted up the stairs by, again, unseen forces and heading into the room. It looks like there's another one at the bottom of the stairs.
Well, that's nice.
Okay.
How long until night?
Should you care at this point, 45 minutes.
Yes, I do care.
Okay. With a twisting of the lock and everything, Carl, you are able to get the door open, but the lock grows extremely cold in your hand and starts hissing.
I'm gonna let go and take a step back. Mr. Cesar, I think there's something strange about this lock.
Okay.
It's so cold, it's burning.
As you go on.
I was just saying, maybe you don't touch it?
Already doing so.
Okay. Everyone. Dexterity.
Uh, 17 plus 8, 25.
28.
6 plus 19.
Okay. Cesar being the wily one and Xanatari having the benefit of range, do not have to deal with the lock that explodes into shards of frozen iron. That, unfortunately, Cesar has to.
You mean Carl?
Carl, yeah. Long night, long day.
That just doesn't seem fair. He didn't want to do it.
Carl, do you have any automatic escapes as far as your skills?
Probably.
How much damage was it for?
Oh, I
Haven't
can.
said yet.
I can gain temporary hit points. That's um, I can ignore 6 points of damage, or mm, 12 as a daily and or 6 as an encounter. Those
Okay.
are immediate reactions.
So you have an option of either using one of those or impressing all of us, especially me, with a really good description of an escape from the situation.
So is there something other in the hallway besides Carl and Cesar himself? Cesar and Carl himself?
Xanatari is there, but there's no sort of hallway table or anything. It's just kind of a bare walled, wood walled passage.
And is Cesar standing behind Carl or in the another direction?
He is behind you.
Yeah, I think it was like across the hall at that other door.
So he just take some sort of defensive stance and put an arm to protect his eyes, but he won't step aside because that would, well, bring Mrs. Cesar into danger, and he's used to be some sort of meat shield, so that's his job.
Oh, Carl, taking one for the team. Most of the team, not the important part.
Okay. Carl, you take 12 points of damage, which you can choose to ignore if you wish.
I do so.
Okay.
Shake it off, Carl.
So Carl can basically catch the greatest shrapnels.
Okay. Do you attempt to, chopstick them out of each individual fragment out of the air and make an art piece with them as you do that? Okay. So you take the exploding lock. It is left now a hole in the floor,
So
which
we can't have
appears
nice
to be
things.
above the kitchen. Which has also apparently damaged some stuff in the kitchen in terms of there's a piece of the floor sticking out of a pot of stew and some other things. But you hear something even worse coming from the room. Deep, deep snoring.
Oh, it seems this room is occupied. And then a little louder voice, Kara's gonna shout out, "Dear invisible hosts, we are gonna pay for this damage before we leave next morning."
Wow, that guy can sleep through anything.
Okay. The deep snoring continues. Does anybody choose to explore the room that has just been opened, or do you want to realize, wait, this is a public house and could be people sleeping?
So is the door closed still, or did it open?
It just kind of swung a little bit open because just from the pressure of pulling it out, it just
Okay.
the lockout
Does the door open into the room or out of the room?
into the room.
Okay. And we haven't seen anybody besides ghost hands, right?
Nope. Or the phantasmal invisible figures that you threw something over when they were carrying the caskets at the.
Right. And I think I saw death.
Yes, you did
Okay.
see death.
Got it. Is the room dark?
Yes.
Okay. Cesar will slip on his goggles and just try to peer through whatever. Don't open the door any further yet, just to see what he can see through the crack of the ajar door.
Okay. You see a figure asleep in the bed.
Okay.
And you also hear that there is the sound like something else is moving in the room. Sort of a clomp, 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 clomp.
but I don't
thing.
see anything.
You don't see anything, but the sound is just a little bit too regular, too even.
Did I notice if the door, when it did open, and it might have been too much going on, once the lock blew apart or whatever, did it make noise? Like, did it creak or squeak when the door swung open a little bit, or did I not notice? Or
Answer unknown.
yeah. Caesar will gesture to Carl and Xanatari to come towards him, come near him, and he'll turn around. He'll pull out his crossbow, and he'll slowly push the door open further.
Before you do that, you should note that the door appears to have taken 0 damage from the lock. There's not even a shard of anything metallic sticking out of the door.
Okay.
And as you put your hand on the door, you feel a coldness starting to creep up your hand.
I will stop touching the door.
Okay. The cold feeling continues to persist, and you find that you are not able to use that hand.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
okay. He'll back away from the door. He's not going to say anything because he doesn't want to make noise right now, but he'll back up away from there with a significant handicap and try to figure out what's going on with his hand.
Okay. All right. Do you want to make a roll for that or move on to somebody else?
Sure. Whatever it would be.
Well, do you want to do
Heal.
natural or arcana or heal?
Let's do heal for fun. I always do arcana.
Okay.
30.
Okay. You are finding out that the effect upon you is something that does not appear to have been made by your skin getting pierced or a contact poison.
Okay.
And slowly you kind of start feeling pins and needles creeping from your fingers where you first touched it. But you can't quite think of anything in any of the books that you've read that would cause that naturally.
Okay.
Xanatari.
Xanatari wouldn't have really noticed any of that part about the coldness or his reaction, just figuring that Caesar is his usual cautious and somewhat, last to go into a fight scenario, she just assumes that he's backing up once he ascertained that there's no gold or goodies or anything. So she's going to pull her sword out and poke at the door to swing it in. And probably not paying attention to the sound of the clomping. She's kind of worried about the occupant at this point when there's exploding locks, etc. So she's going to kind of tiptoe in. I'm going to bring Bert out just so I have a little bit of a light. I'm just going to leave him in the corridor, though, so it's kind of reflective light rather than, a spotlight right on someone's face.
Okay. There is a slight crackle of energy as your sword touches the doorway, but you were able to move it open. Your hand does not react to the door.
Okay.
And the light from Bert, and actually the light from the hallway, ends at the doorway.
Ends at the doorway. Huh.
You, for all the stuff you've kind of dealt with so far, you can almost smell a spell, for lack of a better term, kind of like ozone before a thunderstorm.
Yeah, Xanatari.
You've disrupted some sort of magic, but there's still magic in this room, and you've done something to it, so you kind of get that comparison.
All right, I'm gonna roll an Arcana to see if I can ascertain what it is exactly. 32.
Okay. Some sort of darkness spell.
Meaning lights, like put the lights out? We don't want any daylight disturbing our sleep kind of spell, or...
There are just no light, at least as far as the doorway. And
Do I sense it's like around that portal area and just there, like within a 2-foot radius, and once you get past it, it'll be gone, or is it just surrounding the entire room?
we'll make a guesstimate that probably it only extends a little bit in beyond the doorway.
Okay. Xanatari's gonna just move through it. It doesn't seem like the kind of spell that's gonna hurt you. It's just more of a someone inside can see you and you can't see them scenario.
Okay. As you do that, you feel something crawl over your boot out the door.
Okay.
Entering the room, the shades are drawn, everything is kind of closed up, and the room itself appears to be unoccupied. It is made up. Sheets are nice. Actually, the sheets are rumpled and kind of like something has been sleeping in there, but you don't see anything actually in the room at this point in time.
Okay. Well, out of character, Caesar did though, right? Before she came in.
Caesar has seen something in the bed.
Okay. Okay, well, I will just look and just assume that it was an empty room, no harm done, back out again and come back into the hall and kind of shrug at everyone. No, there's no one there.
Okay. Carl, as Xanatari heads into the room, a small little, for lack of a better term, spider bot that looks like something Caesar would have on him or one of his clockworks comes out and scuttles over Xanatari's boot into the hallway. And kind of like a peacock, a piece of paper that's about the size of a business card flips up like a tail. And just kind of stops in between you and Caesar.
Mr. Scissor, could you have a look at this? It looks kind of dangerous. And he is looking around to see if there's something throwable near him.
Huh? Yeah, Caesar's distracted by his hand, and he looks up and sees this thing on the ground. And does it look like something he would recognize? Is there anything he can glean from it? Just, sort of knowing what he knows.
By the way, anybody that wants to play along for what this little robot looks like, look up Peacock Spider on YouTube. And there is a very cute video of one of these peacock spiders, and it's doing this kind of dance. And that's what I'm sort of envisioning this little creature to do. Caesar, it is not one of yours. Or actually, it could be one of yours, but it's been modified. But it doesn't look like it is an advanced design. You may have lost one of these at some point in time. Could have been something on the side.
Okay.
But without seeing the maker's mark, you could have made it. But
Can I get a sense of what its function is?
right now, it seems to be waving this card around.
It's a really polite, just greeter.
Alright.
That it could very well just be a business card robot.
Probably. Caesar, with the thought that he could be risking his other hand, he's going to reach out with his still usable hand and take the card slowly.
Okay. As you do, the bot settles down and just kind of deactivates
Okay.
in the middle of the hallway. It's the writing you don't recognize, but it is addressed to you, Caesar.
Okay.
It says, "Get in here. P.S. Don't kill all of them."
Kill all of them. Okay. It's like a handwritten note?
Yes.
Does it look familiar, the writing, the handwriting or anything?
As mentioned 20 seconds ago, no.
No. Okay. Um,
He's distracted by his injury.
Mm-hmm.
he'll pocket the note. How big is the robot thing?
Probably the size of a fist.
Okay.
Maybe half a fist.
He'll pick that up and put it in his pocket too.
Okay. That you've noticed that there's enough of your maker's mark. I don't know where you stash it, but if you were to look quickly, you'd see kind of a tail end of your maker's mark. Part of it has been filed off, and another mark has been added to half of yours.
Caesar's got a girlfriend.
Okay. He'll look at that more later. He's he'll go back up to the door and peer in to see if he can see anything more.
Okay. You see Death sitting on the edge of the bed.
Oh, okay. He'll go in.
Okay. Whether or not you see anything else in the room is questionable at this point in time. But Death is in there essentially kind of tapping its foot, waiting and somewhat amused. Acknowledges the fact that you've come in and says, this town's pretty strange, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not your usual town, that's for sure.
Looking somewhat serious, Death tells you that something is going to be happening soon, but you need to have Xanatari not do probably what she would do as her first reaction.
All right, what's gonna happen?
You're going to meet the residents of the town.
Who are?
The residents of the town. Death essentially sums it up that it's a special town, as you've already noticed, and there is a reason for the strangeness, but this town only becomes this active when something. Shoot, I'm kind of having a Carl translating moment. I don't know. It's kind of actually a ghost town.
Right.
But what you're going to run into isn't necessarily going to be bad for you to start out with.
So friendly ghosts.
Could be. There could be some other stuff going on here, but death isn't.
Sounds like.
It sounds like you're not going to immediately die, but you're going to run into an encounter.
Okay.
Cesar, you're gonna. Long story short, you are gonna run into some vampires.
No.
Oh, okay.
This is D&D. It can't be long story short. Skip to the end.
This is what happens when you don't record every week.
So there was some fighting and just,
Yep. This is a town of undead, but it's also a town where there are some living inhabitants. They're not exactly an evil town, but this place has been known to be have been wiped off the map a couple of times in its past. It's kind of got a bad luck to it.
Okay.
What happened to the town in the past, though, isn't necessarily the issue. Death is concerned more for the fact that the ground rose up and seemed to be quite sentient about it and ate part of the castle.
Right. Okay. So we're gonna meet the residents soon, but you don't want Xanatari to.
Immediately start killing things.
Right. Do you want her to hold off? I mean, what?
Yeah.
What are you telling me here?
Yeah, she doesn't need to wipe the town off the map this time, just from the get.
What are you talking about? Who does that? Who would do that? That's Bert. It's not my fault. That was Bert.
And we've been joined by co-GM Freddy, who those who are in the live stream will probably hear him purr. Those who get this afterwards from their podcast stream probably have it edited out. The fact that you're here is just happens to be the closer town that is having issues, but
Right.
your issue is that your town is in the line of whatever is going to be, happening.
Right. All right. So, do you have some sort of goal you want to me or us to accomplish here right now? Don't kill everyone.
Yeah, essentially, don't kill anyone. If you can try to get something out of here, if you can try to learn something, there is a necromancer that is here. You've noticed the stuff watching you, but nothing so far aside from the lock, which Death is kind of like sheepishly pleased about. Apparently, you have inspired Death to take up some mechanic skills, experimentation. So the lock and everything else was kind of just
Nice.
funsies.
Right.
Best perception roll ever.
Okay.
But whether you can salvage a town or actually, if you want to, since you seem to be collecting misfits at your town, you've got the drow already. If you want some vampires or whatever, you might be able to make friends and influence those who could otherwise be enemies.
Okay. Well, I will try not to sick Xanatari on what we encounter here. I imagine that's not going to be the easiest thing, but we'll give it a shot, I guess.
Would she be hearing this, or is this like a psychic conversation you're having?
No, you would not be hearing any of this.
Okay.
As far as you know, Cesar walked into the room, and Cesar's still in the room.
Okay.
Okay. Is that it? Anything else, boss?
Death is extremely concerned that whatever is causing these towns to go missing, the souls that should be going to it are not. They just kind of get black holed. No pun intended, but something old and something ancient, etc. is getting in on the game.
Got it. Now that makes sense. I see some motivation here, finally.
Death does mention that those who had been at your Caesorium did make it to the afterlife.
Those?
There are a bunch of bodies that were at the Caesorium.
Oh, I thought you meant the ones that Bert might have taken out at the end. Do you mean the ones that were dead in the middle?
Oh, those ones you don't know, but the ones that you found that were around the Caesorium.
Okay.
But, you don't have like an ID list or anybody else to know, but apparently Death seems to think that at some point in time you're going to care about that.
Got it. Okay. All right. Any idea when all this is going to go down?
As soon as the sun does.
Oh, okay. Which is in 20 minutes?
About that.
Got it.
Okay. There's also, while you were there, a rumbling from under the ground. Kind of like an earthquake, but just the starting tremors of it, but it stops. but something very deep down has moved.
Got it. Okay. I'll see what I can figure out there for you, boss.
Okay. Death mentions also that you may want to stay away from the castle because that sort of empty spot that it was a couple episodes mentioned that Death is not able to track whatever is doing this. Some sort of hole in that it sees. Apparently that is coming back up towards the surface.
Oh. Got it. And right around the castle.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll try to steer clear of there. I think that might be a wise idea.
Okay. Alrighty. Carl, what would you like to do because you've been patient this long?
He's gonna walk up to Santari and say, "So, I think we went to this town because the Sensorium had a map that showed us that there's trouble here. But as far as I'm concerned, the toast is happy being a ghost town. So maybe we should just leave and maybe find a nearby town and ask them what went down here, because nobody seems to talk to us. Well, right here. So maybe we should find someone who can give us some answers.
Carl, I agree. We came here for a reason, following the instructions in the Sensorium, the places that we needed to visit that might have some kind of work for us. Clearly this place doesn't. I thought maybe there was someone in this room. I thought I heard a sound, but I don't see anyone unless it's another invisible person. So I agree. We should go and find out what happened and see if there's anyone else that could talk to us, because unless we want to stay here tonight with the invisible people, if we do, we should probably get a room and do that. Otherwise, we should get out of here because I think the sun's about to set.
Do you think that something will happen once the sun sets?
I can't see these people anyway, and I don't really want to find them in the dark either. I just feel creepy about being here in the dark with people that I can't see. We should get out of here. Or we should lock the door and go into one of them.
Okay. Cesar?
Well, if he's done, he'll come back out of the room, and he'll approach his compatriots. He'll say, "All right, guys. All right, you're gonna think this is weird. I had a little bit of a weird vision in there. There's something up with that room. But basically, I think that something's gonna happen here in about 15 minutes or so when the sun goes down. Have you ever heard of vampires?"
Would Xanatar have any Kalishtar memories of this? Like anyone who has encountered them?
Sure.
Okay. Then yes, she's going to become visibly agitated.
Right. So that's who lives here, or something. There's a lot of things about surrounding them. There's, I think, I don't know, something like that. But basically, I get the sense that we are not going to be in danger, so we should try to not kill them. Does that make sense? I think they might be actually a possibly a good source to try to figure out what actually happened here. Just putting that out there. Just process that. See what you can do with that bit of info there.
Do you happen to have any psychic info about the number of people that are about to come out when the dark happens here?
Nope. No, I don't.
So, how about we go back to our strange flying vehicle and wait there for the town to come to non-life?
That might,
And
yeah, that might not be a bad idea. At least have a
so we,
getaway plan,
yeah,
if
like that, so we
necessary.
can take off if they're not really friendly.
Yeah, but we should try to figure out what's going on here.
I think so too, but maybe not being in the middle of it when
Yeah.
it happens.
Agreed.
Yes, yes. Let's not be in the middle of it when the dead rise.
Okay. So are you turning collective? Oh, and by the way, does Carl know what a vampire is?
Think he's probably heard of them as some scary children's horror story monsters, but nothing in detail.
Okay. So are you guys leaving the inn?
Pretty much the town, as far as Carl's concerned.
Okay.
Can we get out in 15 minutes? I mean, it seems kind of far.
Who touches once you run down the stairs and go for the door? Who touches the door?
Nobody.
Well, it's open now, so we don't have to.
No.
He's
Who
talking
touches
about
the door downstairs to the outdoors?
Oh.
Outside.
Who would be first, logically?
Xanatari.
Probably.
Xanatari, you find the door.
It's made of gold.
Yay!
That's a Sensorium.
The door is made of women.
Also the.
Also the Sensorium.
So we may not want to talk about that, how that door was made. Xanatari, door is locked, but as you touch the door, you hear kind of the rustle of paper, and some sort of note falls in front of you.
Okay, I'm gonna pick it up and read it.
It's the bill,
For real?
plus damages.
Xanatari turns and holding it out with 2 fingers in front of her, presents it to Carl.
Okay.
He'll forward it to Cesar.
I was gonna say that's like leaving Disney World, and when you walk out, you give the bill to your kid.
It's true. It's true. It really is Caesar's fault.
Mommy,
Right.
why is Goofy gonna break our legs if we don't pay?
Honey, you had a second set of
kids.
toast.
He'll look at the bill. What does it say? How much?
Yeah, it's pretty pricey because you've, destroyed some stuff, but, you've got the money on you.
Yeah, and he's on the job, so he'll bill this later.
To death? This
Yeah.
is death's outsourced
This is
expense.
a work expense. Yep.
Excellent.
He'll
You can't
pull.
cheat death, but you can expense it.
Death with taxes?
Yeah.
Mm.
So he'll I'm guessing there's probably a counter or something down there. He'll put whatever the appropriate amount is
Okay.
on the counter with the bill.
As you do that, the outside you hear very deep, rich peal from the church bell, announcing that it is apparently quarter to the hour, and the money and everything lift off of the counter and move back behind the counter and just kind of float off. There is a click at the door, where Xanatari is standing.
A click as in it's unlocked.
You have to try the door again.
Yeah, I will try the door. I just wondered if I recognize the sound of an unlocking door.
It's
All right.
either a door unlocking or
explosive time? What?
You stepped on a pressure plate, or
Good.
it's going to turn
Bouncing
into
Betty.
razors,
Got it.
or it's a click. It's
Okay.
mechanical.
She'll turn the knob and open the door.
Okay.
It's the Jets and the Sharks.
That's exactly the beginning.
Warriors, come out and play. All right. Yes.
I'm so glad that we have no one who has any kind of stealthy rogue talents to examine this kind of thing before we just do things.
Nope.
Yeah.
Let the healer go first.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You open it up. It is definitely dusk. But the door opens, and you are able, if you want to start running or moving towards the circular thing.
Yes, the parked vehicle.
Yes.
Okay, running away. Running away and chickening out. Zenitari flees quickly across the open area towards where we had left our vehicle.
And they bravely ran away.
We bravely ran away.
Okay, aside from Xanatari, who rolls a perception check on the way out?
Doesn't hurt to try.
What? Pay attention to our environment?
Hey, I just rolled a 20. Natural.
Ooh.
Okay.
2.
First time.
Caesar knows it's a world.
Caesar is distracted by the backside of Xanatari with all the gear and the metal and
Oh,
stuff.
good. I thought for a
Pulling down
second,
things.
and then I realized it was the stealing aspect.
Running away, and you decide that running away is good, therefore taking in none of the rest of the world, which is kind of par for the course, but very good. Carl, as you get down to about the second step from the ground, you notice that some of the windows are opening on the various buildings around, and candles start to flicker to life, at least as far as illumination. And there are what appear to be people looking out the window towards you as they're doing different things. Description-wise, they look like albinos. In addition, kind of going past you towards the church, a horse starts to materialize. Looks very kind of like very much like an outline, and sort of fades into being as it approaches a water trough down the road. There's also some other signs of activity around the town.
So he'll call out. I've got a strange feeling we should maybe run a little bit faster and point at some of the directions where he sees the movements.
There is an even richer, deeper peal coming from somewhere else in town that joins the church bell, announcing 10 minutes to dusk.
Running quickly, running.
Carl's gonna pick up Cesar if he looks like he's not running fast enough.
Cesar, are you running fast enough?
Probably not.
Okay. Are you taking any precautions so far?
I think he's just trying to keep an eye out for... He's not, having the warning that he had and knowing that it's not actually just a vision that he had, but actually a real warning from a god. He's not too concerned, but he doesn't mind the idea of having an easy exit, but he's not as terrified to motivate him as the others probably are.
Carl, I'm going to hold your 20. Just because the perception check isn't going to do that much for you, so I will bank your 20. And how are you going to pick up Cesar on the way past?
Oh, he'll just match speed with him, put out his arms and lift him up and shove him under his armpit.
Okay. The cardboard cutout Cesar.
Love it.
Okay. Cesar, is anything going to come falling out of your pouches or whatever?
No, they're all tied down.
Okay. All right. And where is Winter?
Well, Winter waited outside when we went into the inn area, so Winter would be running behind us. Probably beginning to howl, because he would be disturbed by all this stuff that's going on. In the meantime, Xanatari is kind of beginning in her agitation to accidentally summon storm clouds that are sort of slowly rolling in, because she's getting prepared to use hammering wind, and if we need to be drug the last 10 squares to where we need to go, she's getting prepared for that.
Okay. Whether it is due to your weather Not trying to do a pun there with the
Mm.
use of words, but deep fog is starting to pour out of the woods and nooks and so forth as the sky above begins to take on a very Transylvania-like swirling storm cloud effect. Thunder in the distance and lightning can be seen and heard, and the thunder works quite well alongside the pealing of the bell that announces 5 minutes to night. However, your storm is making it considerably darker before the sun sets.
How far away are we from the vehicle?
You could be 5 minutes. You could be a little bit longer. You're now having to deal with fog and dodging trees and finding your way back to make sure that you are at the right clearing.
Gotcha. I just meant in terms of distance. Like, can we see
Um,
it? Is it visible, or is it like there's a forest in between? Where
there's
we
a
are?
forest in between you because there was the clearing, forest, and so forth.
Okay.
The ground is also starting to rumble considerably.
Mm.
Not exactly throwing you off your stride, but something behind you is moving the earth. And it feels, if you've ever been near a train track, as when a large diesel train goes by,
Mm.
you get that kind of thrumming feeling as from the engine as it goes by.
Okay.
That, a number of additional times. It's very much a almost living feeling of just something with the earth.
I'm gonna pull Bert closer to me and then kind of throw him above so he starts to orbit the ion stone that he is, giving us some light. And I'm gonna climb onto Winter. How many people can Winter carry? Just out of character.
Just you.
Just me. All right.
Yep. Bert starts to try and act like a lighthouse. It sort of sweeps light around you guys a couple of times, and eventually the light shoots off into the distance at one particular fixed point.
Going towards the fixed point.
You're going towards a fixed point.
Yes.
Okay. Occasionally, other colored beams from Bert shoot off into the distance, and you hear kind of a crumping whoop sound as
Plugging
if
my
something
ears.
is being blown up. Okay. Carl, you feel that there is something, if not on your heels, something is closely chasing after you, or has at least noticed you.
Without slowing down, he's gonna turn Cesar by 180 degrees, so he now faces backwards, and ask him, should I try to run faster? Faster?
Nice.
No, I think you're going fast enough.
Cesar, fog is a wonderful thing, especially fog as it's starting to become night. You might see shapes running here and there within the fog, but you're not too sure if they are. But in the distance, you see, roughly back where you think the town could have been, something start to rise up that kind of quickly is lost in the fog, but suddenly there's a mountain kind of rising up behind you.
Like maybe right around where the castle would be.
Yeah, that whole kind of area. Suddenly something beyond gargantuan
Mhm.
rising up.
Got it. He is gonna do his darndest to make out as many details of whatever that is as he can.
It's just kind of this large black darker, thing on against, in the distance, like Shadow of the Colossus type deal,
Okay.
where it's just fog. All you see is just this shape going up, and it's starting to become dark enough that it gets lost. You just know that it's massive,
Right.
and the sound is coming from that way. So it's just kind of this blob.
Okay.
Oh, and your death radar is kicking in.
Okay.
You seem to have some sense of things, but it's not necessarily coming directly from the town. It's coming from areas around, but they are older dead. So there's
Mhm.
people have died in the forest or have been buried from previous homesteads. You kind of get the feeling that there were formerly other burial areas in this place.
Okay.
Did you summon Cthulhu again, Cesar?
Okay. Last round. Xanatari. Or actually, Cesar, do you want to pass along that info to anybody, or are you just going to keep it to yourself? And
No, he's good right now.
okay. Carl, you have heard that you're going at an appropriate pace. Do you believe him?
Yeah, I believe him and try to not trip on a root or something and don't. He's not gonna appear behind him, but keep his eye on the path.
Okay. Xanatari, what are you going to do?
She's just riding Winter as fast as possible, trying to get to where the beam of light is focused as quickly as possible, not looking back, and just trying to remain calm enough not to, accidentally electrocute anyone.
Okay. Occasionally off in your peripheral, you think you may see things moving in the fog parallel to you.
Okay.
But between the thunder, lightning that is rapidly approaching, winter howling, the sound from the earth, and a pealing of the bells signifying, and this whatever bell they've got for nighttime, this one is just primo. It carries a good distance and sounds damn good.
It's like the primitive medieval Silent Hill up in here.
Yep. But that goes off, and whether it is due to something else or the sudden burst of wind from the storm coming in through the forest as it hits you, the bell suddenly stops.
Okay.
Take us out.
Thank you for listening. You can find out more at deathbefore.dishonor.com. Find us on Twitter at deathd4 or on iTunes, which is our preferred place. You can also find us here every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at twitch.tv/Genesee. Click follow on the channel if you want, and thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.